Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to Nellie and Ruth Designs. This is Bird Friday. Collaging is for the birds. And the hashtag for that is hashtag NR Bird Collage. Okay. Welcome. If you're new to my channel, welcome. You're going to probably see a fun collage today if I can get this to, if I can get it taken from my mind and my head onto the paper, it should be fun. For all of those coming back and watching, I appreciate you. If you want to know how to work and do surreal collage, this is going to be pretty much like a tutorial today, how my mind works. And maybe that will give you some insight as to how you could start a surreal collage. And for all my patrons over on Patreon, thank you. I appreciate you very much for your extra support. So the first part of this video, and I'm going to try to, I try to cut my videos down, but when I'm doing a tutorial, I just really like, this is Collage Soup Flower Power, I just really like to take my time and explain the process. So I've been thinking about this all week as to what I want to do. And sometimes it takes me all week to try to figure out what's going on. And I have a very sore baby girl here, Bella. She hurt her, I thought it was her front leg. She hurt her back leg and she's staring at the chair. I don't want to get her up on anything. Settle down, sweetheart. I actually am waiting for the vet to call because I took her last week and the pain meds and the inflammatory medicine hasn't worked at all. So I think I'm going to either have to go for MRI or something because she's not acting herself and I just feel really bad. So this is going to be definitely a step-by-step. I still have no idea really what I'm going to do. I have a good idea. So I know I want to incorporate some of these flower images out of Collage Soup Flower Power. Okay. I have my bird book here, but this morning I had to go down for more blood work for my iritis. And they took 7 vials of blood from me today. And as soon as I get all the test results back and everything that's going on, I'll keep you posted. The only thing I know, I did get a call from my doc's nurse today, and I did have a chest x-ray. That came back. There's no lymph nodes or anything like that on my lungs. However, they did discover that I have, and I have to get this straight too. I think she told me that there was air pockets in my lungs. My lungs are expanding, so obviously I'm not taking in the air I should, and she asked if I had asthma. Well, I have exercise-induced asthma, so when I hike these big mountains, I have to stop frequently to catch my breath. It's not my body that gets tired, it's my breathing. I can't catch my breath. If I don't run or jog anymore because of that. So I have to, they're going to schedule me for a pulmonary test to see the level of asthma that I have. And then she says I may have to get an emergency inhaler if I'm out exercising, take it with me to do something like that. So of course, when you clean out your silverware drawer, you have to, keep going, and then the kitchen gets remodeled and all of that. So I have a feeling that a lot of these tests are going to come back and it's going to create other tests that I have to do, which isn't fun, but we'll get to the bottom of it. So when I got back from giving blood this morning and I was having breakfast, I went through, my husband has 2 new Rob report books downstairs. And I went through to see what I could harvest in there for this bird collage. So, and for other surreal collages as well. So I took this one here because I really like this watch, and I thought this would be something I could really do something cool with this. All right. I grabbed this one here of the jewelry. These are rings. I'm sure I can find something to do, but I thought that was interesting. This here I thought was a lot of fun. I could definitely do something with that. I picked this gal here because I thought I'd like to use her face at some point and then use the rest of her body in something else. Here we are in Venice with a gondola. I thought I could use that. This here, I already have an idea what I want to use for this. So this is how I harvest my images. And this I thought was very striking. And again, I have an idea here what I want to do for these two. I grabbed this one. This one here I grabbed because of the water. This is a ring advertisement. I'll show you how this goes. Hopefully it's not too. So this goes like this, and it's an ad for Trinity. It's a ring. So you see the 3 rings here, and then the couple showing obviously their love for one another. But I thought this would be really cool. I could use this background in the water. I grabbed this watch, which I thought was really, really cool. I like working with watches and people, I'm finding. This one here I like a lot too. The gal looking up. That could be a fun surreal collage. I grabbed her, which she is the one I'm going to use today. I grabbed this one here because I thought this would be fun to use. I could have a, like a large baby, tuck a large baby behind here holding a toy car or something. I could do something here. That would be kind of fun. And then I grabbed this watch here to use down the road. Okay. So that's how I pick images to use for surreal collaging. This gal, I grabbed her, and I like the composition of the white and the creams and the white background. I do not know yet what I want to do with her face. I will do something. I probably won't leave her face there. But when I was looking at this, and I kept thinking, what could I do with my birds? So I have an idea. And I opened up my book, and I want to keep this black. I want to do a black composition here for her dress. And I thought if I could gather enough black birds with their wings spread, I could turn this dress into something fancier using birds on here with their different positioning of wings. Let's see here. So I'll just give you some examples, and then I'm going to say goodbye to you, take a break, and I'm going to cut some of these birds out. So looking through here, what I'm talking about is the wings here like this, all right? And then this bird here is really cool with the wings here. And when you're looking to do something like this, you have to keep in mind the contour. So if I want to cover this dress here, I have to keep in mind the contour of the bird, the positioning of the wings, again, her curves and her body coming down around here. So like when I look at this one here, and this is also when I start to measure. So say if I want to use these wings here, okay, I would measure this. I just hope there's not too much of a glare, because there's a glare for me, and it could be because of my eye. So I measure this, and we're looking at about 3 3/4 inches. So I'm going to take my ruler, and I'm going to come over here. All right, so here we have 3 3/4. So again, I'm just looking at Bella. She wants to get up in that chair so bad, but I don't want her jumping up and down. So if it's 3 3/4, I have to take into consideration it's not going to cover this whole area here. It would only cover to right about here. But I could put another bird, if I find another bird with feathers, their wings spread up there. So that's still a good candidate. This one here, and I don't know if I would take the tail. I would probably just take the body. This goes to about 4 1/4, just shy of 4 1/4. So that one would fit here. If I chose to put that bird, have it more at an angle here, I would have plenty of room. So that's something that you have to take into consideration as well. Let's see, what do I have? I'm just going to grab some. Let me grab my Post-it notes. I'll just grab a few business cards here just to stick in here. So I know I want to use these two, so I'm just going to put that there. And then all I'm going to do is go through here just so you get an idea. All right, so this blackbird here with the way this is, this would work really well if I wanted to use this tail to come down and around. I could have the bird and I would be cutting her hand, and I would have that tail feather come all the way down like this. So again, you see the contour here. You just look at the shape, and I'm sure that that would work out really well. So that one I'm going to mark as a yes. I would cut it out, and I may not use all of these birds, but I'm at least going to start cutting birds with wings that are spread out and you can see the scallops in them. So this is another one right here that I would consider. So I'll cut that out. This would be a really good one if it was black and white. I may end up coming back for that, but this would be really good at another collage because you could actually have this bird clutching onto something. So if I use this, I would make a copy of the bird and I would put the copy in this collage here that I would be doing. And this is where your patience comes in, and you just have to be diligent and kind of stick to your plan as to what you're trying to achieve. It might work out, it may not work out. This here, you could always cut this if you wanted some fine, thin area. If you had a small area, like if I had a little tiny area here that wasn't covered, I would go back and take that head. So those the feathers on the head would come up and out like that on her dress. And again, I mean, there may not be enough birds in here to do that. So I'm just going to kind of go through here quickly just to give you an idea of some other. So here's another one here, this small one. This would be good to use. It's small, but you may need that for a small little area. So I'm going to put a mark there. These are good for coverage, but the scalloping or the feathers, whatever, they aren't pronounced enough where I would want to use them. And again, the larger the bird, the less birds you would need. This one would be a really good one if you want to have a splash of red in there. I'm not going to count that one out because those are really good wings that you could use. This is another one where you could cut these wings out. So we're going to mark that one. And again, I mean, it doesn't hurt to cut the birds out. That's really cool, but that's gray. I could always go back to that one if I use that other neutral colored one, if I wanted to get it another little splash of red in there. Owls are out because they're light. Speaking of owls, this morning at 3:30, I said, oh, I'm going to open my windows because it was kind of warm last night. And I said, if it rains, I want to hear the rain. Well, 3 o'clock, 3:30 this morning, an owl, a big old owl in the woods, was hooting and woke me up. And then, of course, Daisy was growling, and I think I got to sleep. I think I got back to sleep at 5:30. All right, so I may have enough birds. I'll just have to see, and if not, I will go and I will find, I'll get those neutral colored ones. Like this is a great one, but again, I'd want to save that for another time. But I think I'm going to start cutting what I've showed you. And that this is even a good one here too, because these are a little bit more pronounced. So I'm just going to stick something in there. This is a really good one too. So maybe I might be like a black and beige. We'll see. I really want to keep it all black. Okay, so I have the birds cut out, and these are the birds here. I have this one. I did cut this one here, which I'm going to do something fun with up around her head. I'm just going to play. There's nothing written in stone here where I'm going to put these yet, because I don't know. I have this one here, which I love that one. And then I have this one here with the feathers. I cut this little one out here. I cut this little one out here. And I have this one here. So I'm not going to put this one in my book because I may end up putting this on another piece of paper and hanging it on my wall. So I'm just going to take this little bit off right here because I want as much sides here as I can possibly get for the wings. If I have to have them out like that or like this, we'll see. I don't know just yet. So this is actually the fun part of the collage. Now the other thing that I did, because I am going to have holes in here, this is from Collage Soup, and these are digitals that I purchased directly from Emily's site. And I'm going to cut these two faces out. Now, I'm not sure, I want to add the faces onto her dress. Because if I do have the white, I know I'm going to have white space behind there. So what I'm going to do, and because I may want to cut these out and use these some other time, I don't want to cut into them. And I'm going to take, for right now, just a little tiny bit of the top of her head here, okay? Because I can always take less. And I think I'm going to come down on the neck here and just come across. Because again, if I have a spot where it's too white, or I have too much white and I need to fill it in, I can do that. So I'm going to do that on both of these. And I hope my lighting is okay for you. Just because I had to change, with this glossy paper, I do have to change the lighting around some. And you'll notice on here, this is the yellow. I don't know if this was the Book of Yellow over at Collage Soup, or although this isn't really yellow, is it? This is more of an orange. Or if these were just, some were free. Emily will offer some free downloads at different times. I don't know if this was one of the free ones, or it was actually from a book or a little kit that I bought. So I have these here, and I think I'm going to just set these aside, and I'm going to play a little bit with these birds. And again, I really do not know where any of these are going. The only thing I really would like to do is see how these tail feathers are in a V. I thought this would be really cool to make this somewhat of a headdress and maybe put it around her eye. Have it come across some way if I can. Finagle that. And maybe even just do it on one side. I like that, where it might come around. I think that looks really cool like that. Kind of like a masquerade mask. Again, it just depends on how things work out up here. Now, remember I said about contour, and I'm going to cut this little branch out of here. And you want to have these wings, or feathers, and wings, I guess, contour around the shape of her body. This I cut out, so if I put it down around here, it could maybe latch onto her finger. Now, I don't know, I will probably have it like this. But what I would do is I would cut one finger out so it looked like it was grabbing onto her finger. And I like this here because it can, the bird, you can see, comes up around her finger here. And you can just kind of tweak it where it's just sitting on the tip of her finger. So this here is a nice contour where it comes around her hip and comes down and around. So we have a couple ways to work on this. I'd want to do the same thing over here. I'd want to find something that contoured nicely over here on her hip. And I'm thinking that probably this one here, just because the way this curves out. And what I would do is I would make a cut here and here, and I would have this so her arm is going over the bird. I also like it like this because it actually looks like this is a sleeve, like a puffy sleeve, or not even really a puffy sleeve, but a sleeve coming up. So we could even do something like this. like that. And I'm not too concerned of, you know, if it doesn't come all the way down around, I can always cut this shorter, okay? So I'm just going to leave that like that for now. So it looks like we're going to have some space in here where I could put something, but I'm not going there yet because I have all these other birds yet to work with. So this one here, this is the one, so we have up here, and I kind of like this. I think this, and I'm just trying different ways. This might be kind of cool to come up like this, and I would keep the red beak here with the head. So that could be, we would cut that off there. All right, so this would be coming out around here, and I could even angle that a little bit differently. So we have that there. And again, if that's a spot, I would cut this off to make it look like a sleeve there, okay? And then I would keep that there coming out and about. This one here, I really, well, this is the one here that I thought, now, if I like this here like this, what I would do is I would cut this and I would use this part in another spot. And I would be taking the top off of this bird here. So that we could put, I could imagine that there. And again, I may take that whole tail right off. And then I could put an eye. I could put part of the face right here where there's an eye. That's a possibility. Then this one here, the other place I thought of putting this is if I didn't want that there, I could put this. I could cut this in half, all right? I would take that head off, and I could have this coming down and around like that. That's why you just have to play with this stuff. And then here, I would have the hand over that, and I would have maybe the feathers here coming out like that. Because I want to make it as wispy as I can. I just have to decide. Could also have that like that. There's a lot of different things that you could do. That could go in that small little spot there because you've got those little wisps out around. You could have that coming up around there like that as well. Because I want these, you have to think, how defined do you want these? You just want it to pop. could have that like that there. Cut that so it is like that. And it's going to look different too when you get the tails and the heads cut off. It's just all about which way am I going with this? But I really like that. I think that looks really cool. And then this one here, that could come around, and that could come out like that, possibly. And her hand, her arm and her hand would go over around that one. Then we could take something like this, and let me take this off for a minute. We could contour her face around this, where the eyes, one eye could be showing there, in the mouth and the nose. And what did I say? This here is a possibility. That tail would be gone. So it could be like this. Her hand would be over that. And then we could slide this other one in, again, right maybe around here like this. And then we could take this one here, contour this down on this side so it rounds out, follows her hip down, okay? And then we could take this one and maybe put it over here, and then we have these here. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a picture of this. And then I'm going to cut. I'm going to take my time. I'm going to look at this, and I'm going to decide. I'll make a decision as to where all of this is going to go, obviously. Where's my, gosh dang it. There's my camera. So I'm going to take a picture. All right, so I got a picture of that. And then I'm going to, I'll get everything positioned. Then I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to label what birds will go where. And then we will come back and we will get everything all in place, okay? All right, so I'll see you in a few minutes. All right, so I'm going to put the first three pieces down, and I'm just going to use a little bit of the glue stick. So what I did was I know I want that there. I did make a little cut near her hand because I want this face to go right down in here, okay? So with that there, I want to measure So this was the bird. I cut the bird's tail off here. All right, remember the bird's tail came out of here, right here, like this. So, and I needed to get rid of that. So I took the bird's tail off of there, and I'm going to place this. I want those feathers, those bird feathers, right there like that, okay? And then this bird here was the one that I had spoke about, and I cut this bird's head off of this right here, okay? And I want this one over here, because remember I said I want it to look like it's just part of her sleeve here, all right? But I want this over this. So what I'm going to do is I guess I'm going to leave that tail on there. I'm going to have that like this here. I'm going to bring this up a little bit, not too far, but that I think I need to move this over because I don't want any white, or I mean, I don't want any, I should have this bird showing here because it's not about the girl's head. It's about the feathers. So this is going to go, let's see here. Like this. All right, we're going to put this like that. Now bear with me, doesn't mean I'm going to keep this here. It doesn't mean I'm going to keep all of this head here. So I think the next thing, and then we are going to have this, and that's the other thing I have to measure, because we have this coming down, which I don't mind because bird feathers are, they're everywhere, okay? And then this here will come up around here like this. If I get rid of that bird head there, I could put that bird coming across her like that. I'm still just trying to work this out. And then then you would really just see this eye. I want this eye in the mouth to show. Don't necessarily need the nose. So I think maybe that's what I will do. So we are going to get rid of this head here. And I'm going to okay, so that I wanted to make sure that I can get rid of this whole thing. Okay. And this is where your patience you really have to be patient. And this is where it all comes into play here. And because that is going like that. That is going like that. and this is going like this. I think I can get these. I think I'm going to take this tail feather off here. And I'm just going to make it so they're hopefully I didn't ruin that, because I want this up over here like that. Okay, and I have to remember not to put that too high because you have this coming down like this. Okay, all right. And then if this goes up here like this, that will bring this point together. So I think this is what we're going to do. So I'm going to get a little bit of glue on here, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to position these here and this one here, and we will come back. I'll be able to get this on her because these will be up, and then we'll come back and do the lower part of the dress. Okay, so I have those down, and I know I want to put her down here, and I did find another bird because I needed something else. I did find another bird that was similar to this one in the front of the book. So I cut this out, but what I have to do now, and again, I'm going to step away. I need to cut her fingers out here. I need to go around her fingers. I need to go around her fingers down here. I'm going to use my X-Acto knife because I want to be able to slide things underneath her arm here. And I'm going to use my X-Acto knife, and when I have when I have her hands cut out, I will be back. Okay, so I have her hands cut out right here. All right, see how they're raised up right there? I just took my time to cut them out. So I obviously lowered the camera a little bit more so you can see here. So again, I'm not sure. I do know I want to have her on here. Now I just don't know about how far over I want her, and I'm wondering if I should cut her hand a little bit more underneath this tail. That's the other reason why you don't want to glue a lot of things down straight away, so you can lift things up and get things tucked under. And this is really the part I like because it's like a puzzle. And I have to go a little bit more up her arm, or up her hand here if I want to. And remember, this part is not going to be showing because it's underneath those tail feathers. And I can always cut this face down as well. But I would kind of like to have it like this. Then I can cut that off. Now, this little part here will go back around the finger, but I had to lift this little tiny piece of, and I've got to be careful. I don't want to rip and tear that. I'm thinking, and I should have taken a picture of it. Did I? Let me see here. Whoops. Gotta go to my gallery here. Okay, I didn't. All right, so I was fooling around and I thought, was it this? No, I didn't want that. How did I have this? I have to move this a little bit more towards me. I think I had this. I decided I was going to put this here because I thought this looked really cool. And it kind of goes over her eyebrow. I just raise that up a little bit, all right? So I thought of putting that there because I really liked that. And then the beak goes right over her eyebrow. This takes up where the beak is here. I like to try to connect everything and just make nice lines. So I think I'm going to do that. So I'll be careful there. And then I thought maybe I could have this. And I would have to cut that finger a little bit more. But possibly, just possibly having this here come up and around her face there as well, because I like the way this curves around. That's a possibility. Then I have this here, where if we have this, I would probably have to cut some of that, or if I cut this, and I have this coming down around here like this. That's a possibility, or I could have it up. Whoops. Come on, Barbie. I could trim that. I could have it up like this. I may have to I'll have to raise my camera back up in a minute because I'm having a hard time seeing this. So you can. So if I have that there, I would want to have this, something like this, up along here. Hold on here. If I have this, and this is where you just have to really intertwine everything. And this is where your patience really have to come into play. Let's take this out for just a minute. Come on. I want to get it caught on anything and rip and tear. Oh, I see what's caught underneath this little section here. All right. Okay, so if I have, let's take this out for a minute. And let's just say, I'm going to have to move this up. All right, let's put it just like that. If we have that there, we continue to have that there. Let's move this. If we get this up here, I'd have to cut that tail off. I would want this up more up in here. Let's just do this just for, see, I'd have to get this tail in here. Okay. And you're probably thinking, no, thank you. I do not ever want to do a collage like this. There we go. But to me, this is where the challenge really comes in, and this is what I like. And then some of her, this could be over like this. And again, I'm just playing because just have to see how this is all going to work out. Then we could get her back over here. Okay. Get her up in here. And I kind of like her eye just being covered a little bit there. We could tweak and play with this bird, even if we brought that down a little bit. Not saying that that's where it's going to go. I'm just playing here. And then we could get this again over on this side here to come down and around. So this is my idea. I'm going to step away. I don't want to rush it. I would still like to get this bird in somewhere because I really like this. I think I like this better. I don't know, but I like these feathers curled around her fingers like she is holding them. Like almost like she's holding her dress down, which I think is kind of cool. So I'm going to step away. I'm going to look at this. I'm going to come back to it. And then once I get it all positioned and figured out, we will come back, piece it together, glue it down, and we will finish up. Okay, so I had to do more cutting. I had to do more cutting on her arm because I wanted to fit this right down along in here. I have the woodpecker attached here. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this face and I'm going to angle it instead of doing it straight on. And I want, again, that contour. I want that to come down and around, but I want this up. So her pinky is on the top of the head. So we're going to, I think we're going to do it right about like this. Then we are going to take this bird here and we are going to slide this in. I think we're going to slide it right about here. Let's see here. This is where it gets tricky because I want this to go, these feathers like this, in her, holding on to that like that. Then we have to attach this so it looks like it's sitting on her finger here. Okay, so we have that there like that. I'm not going to glue that down just yet. So that will be there. That'll be attached to her finger, that bird there like we had it before. And then I have to look for my white spaces here. So I have a little white space here, and I'm going to take this bird and I'm going to tuck this in here like this. And I'm going to have this bird flying across. So almost like this is a cuff on her wrist. All right. And then if this is positioned properly, I'm going to cut think I want it like this. Oh, my stomach's grumbling. I hope you can't hear that. I'm going to have this come down. And I just really want to have, I don't want to have any white space there. I don't mind if there's white space on the bottom here, because that's kind of like the end, the bottom of her dress. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut this here, and I'm going to cut it like there's feathers there on the bottom instead of just cutting it straight across. And get this underneath here. That little bit of red is tucked behind there, but again, there's a little bit. So I think I will do it like that. And I just think on this, I think I'm going to take a little bit of this off of her. And if this doesn't look right, I can always print another one. We're going to slide that back up there. And we're going to get her angled right about here like this, because I want this coming off. And just one, I think I'm going to take this whole dark spot, black spot off here. And I'm just going to put her on like this. Whoops. And I'll just get her tweaked again, get it all tweaked. So yeah, I just want her coming off of here like this. Like that. This is going to come over like this. Oops. This is the hard part when you get down to the end here. And I don't care if that's over her eye there. And then we have these two. I'm just wondering if I want that underneath there. I want that coming right across her wrist like that. So, all right, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to get my art glitter glue, and I'm just going to dab these little pieces down so they don't go anywhere. And I'm going to get her, I want to get this on here. And I have to make sure these are set, because once I use this art glitter glue, there is no going back. And I mean no going back. And I think that's good like that. And just make sure. Just make sure this is positioned okay. I think I have to turn this. I don't want that red there to... It's a balance between the red and the white. Hershey I can bring over a little bit more. Okay. I really don't want that. All right, let me get her fingers down here. Just a little dot. That's down. Now the last ones. It's right here. And I think that's good. And I think I'm going to put that like that. So this I'm going to put here. I'm going to put this on her finger, coming across this, her thumb, and then I'm going to get this down next, okay? So make sure that this is all. I'll put that just like that. And then I can go back and I can just take my time and I'll get it glued down. And then I'll pick out a background paper to put this on. I'm just going to put a little dab there just to hold that. Okay, so I think everything is on here. Oh, and then there's one final thing I'm going to do, because I'm going to make it look like she has a little cuffed sleeve, a little puff sleeve. So I have this head here of this bird that I cut off. Just get some of this white off here. And I'm going to take this and I'm going to cut this part off here because we don't need this. And I'm going to put this bird right here, and it's going to look like she has a little sleeve, or not a sleeve, but a little cuff there. You know those, I know you know what I'm talking about. I just can't explain it. And that's going to round right there. That just worked out really well with her shoulder. There, right there. There. So I'm going to go and I'm going to finish getting a backdrop on this. I'll get it all glued down and then we will be back. Okay, it is done. Oh my goodness, this is the most difficult one I have attempted to do, but I tell you, I absolutely love it. I am so pleased with how this came out, and I did have an idea as to what I wanted to do, and I was so happy that it all worked out. And again, you have to take your time. I have been working on this all day. I mean, I literally started this. It's 4:55 now. No, actually it's 5:07. It's 5:07 p.m. and I started this today. Oh gosh, just before noon. I started 11 o'clock because I remember I said I could start it for an hour before my son comes home for lunch. And I am just so happy with this. So you can see I attached this. I have my long presentation paper. So I took the backdrop and I put it on a 12 by 12 black scrapbook paper. And I cut it down, made a border, and then I attached this to the the larger presentation paper because I'm going to be hanging this in my craft room / office. But I'll give you a little up close here. So, and I don't know, you know, I kept saying this girl looks so familiar. I don't know. Now that I have it all done, all I can think of is Katy Perry. This is something this is an outfit that Katy Perry would come out with wearing on her show, on her music show. And I really like to see what she does come out with. But I absolutely love this bird collage. And it is just using, like I showed you, using the feathers, cutting, tucking. I love using these faces here from Emily over at Collage Soup. I think they just add a wonderful element. I cut out the girl's hand here so the feathers could intertwine in her fingers. And the same here, I cut this so the bird could be gripping her finger there. And then we used the other face down here, which makes a really nice filler. So I'm really, really pleased with this, and I'm really pleased that it came out for all of you. I think this is a wonderful tutorial, and I would just absolutely love to have everybody try surreal collaging. Take your time, even if you don't finish it in one day. Start it, set it aside, go back to it. I don't know how many times I went back and looked at this. I went through the bird book again to find this bird here. The other thing I added, I had a tail left over from where I cut, and I added this, so it was like another cuff, a secondary cuff on her arm there to make it more complete. So yeah, I hope you all enjoyed this video. I'm just so pleased with it. It's a great way to end my day, and I just really hope that you try something like this and just think out of the box, think of what you can do, how you can transform a very simple picture that you get in a magazine, and how you can transform it into something really, really fun. So again, thank you everybody, and I couldn't be happier. So I will see you in my next video. Okay, have a great day. Bye-bye.